The roots of the Israel-Palestine conflict trace back to the late 19th century. Both Jews and Arabs began to develop strong national identities. Jews facing persecution in Europe viewed Palestine as their homeland. This led to the rise of the Zionist movement. Meanwhile, Arabs in Palestine opposed a Jewish state. Tensions rose as Jewish immigration increased. Both communities laid claim to the same land, leading to clashes. The end of World War I brought significant changes to the Middle East. The Ottoman Empire collapsed, and the League of Nations placed Palestine under British control. This period, known as the British Mandate, lasted from 1920 to 1948. The British promised to support both Jewish and Arab aspirations, but this proved difficult. The Balfour Declaration of 1917 further complicated matters. In it, Britain expressed support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This encouraged Jewish immigration, while Arab resistance grew. The British struggled to maintain order as violence between Jews and Arabs increased. During the Mandate, several Jewish and Arab uprisings occurred. The most notable was the Arab Revolt from 1936 to 1939. This revolt aimed to end Jewish immigration and British rule. The British responded with force, but tensions remained high. Both sides continued to arm themselves, preparing for future conflicts. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. Jews accepted the plan, but Arabs rejected it, leading to further violence. On May 14, 1948, Israel declared independence. Arab-Contras not accept Israel, marking the beginning of the First Arab-Israeli War. Neighboring Arab states invaded Israel, aiming to destroy the new state. The war lasted for about a year and resulted in significant changes. Israel managed to not only survive, but also expand its territory beyond the UN's proposed borders. Some of the Palestine areas taken by some Arab counties also. Many Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes during the conflict, becoming refugees. This event is referred to by Palestinians as the Nakba, or catastrophe. The war ended with armistice agreements in 1949, but no permanent peace was achieved. The borders were drawn along the armistice lines, known as the Green Line. These borders did not resolve the underlying issues and set the stage for future conflicts. In 1967, tensions culminated in the Six-Day War. Israel get information about Arab counties are going to attack them, then they launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. Within 6 days, Israel had captured the Gaza Strip, West Bank, East Jerusalem, Sinai Peninsula, and Golan Heights. This war significantly altered the map of the region and intensified the conflict. The capture of these territories brought more Palestinians under Israeli control. It also led to the beginning of Israeli settlements in the West Bank and Gaza. These settlements became a major point of contention. The Arab states and Palestinians did not recognize Israel's right to exist, which fueled ongoing hostilities. Another major conflict occurred in 1973, known as the Yom Kippur War. Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel during the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. Initially successful, the Arab forces were eventually pushed back by Israel. This war led to increased U.S. involvement in the region, aiming to stabilize the situation. Section 5. Peace efforts like the Oslo Accords. Despite ongoing violence, several peace efforts have been made. The most notable was the Oslo Accords, signed in the 1990s. These agreements were the result of secret negotiations between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO. The accords aimed to establish a framework for peace and the creation of a Palestinian state. Under the Oslo Accords, the PLO recognized Israel's right to exist and renounced terrorism. In return, Israel recognized the PLO as the representative of the Palestinian people. The accords led to the establishment of the Palestinian Authority, which governs parts of the West Bank and Gaza. However, the Oslo process faced significant obstacles. Violence continued, and mutual distrust remained high. Key issues such as the status of Jerusalem, Palestinian refugees, and Israeli settlements were left unresolved. These issues have continued to hinder the peace process. Section 6. Key issues: refugees, settlements, Jerusalem. Several key issues lie at the heart of the Israel-Palestine conflict. One major issue is the status of Palestinian refugees. Many Palestinians who fled or were expelled have not been able to return. Another contentious issue is Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Israel has built numerous settlements housing hundreds of thousands of Israelis. Jerusalem is another highly sensitive topic. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim it as their capital. The city's religious significance further complicates the issue. Section 7. The current situation. Today, the Israel-Palestine conflict remains unresolved. The situation on the ground is tense, with periodic outbreaks of violence. The Gaza Strip, governed by Hamas, has seen several wars with Israel. The West Bank remains under Israeli occupation, with continued settlement expansion. Peace talks have stalled, and mutual distrust is high. The humanitarian situation for Palestinians is dire. In Gaza, a blockade has led to severe economic hardship and limited access to basic necessities. In the West Bank, restrictions on movement and economic activity impact daily life. Israelis also face security threats from rocket attacks and other forms of violence. International efforts to mediate peace have had limited success. The U.S., historically a key mediator, has seen its influence wane. Other countries and international organizations continue to call for a two-state solution, but achieving this remains elusive. Section 8. Ongoing peace efforts. Despite the challenges, efforts to achieve peace continue. Various initiatives, such as the Arab Peace Initiative, propose comprehensive solutions. This initiative offers normalization of relations between Arab states and Israel in exchange for a full withdrawal from the occupied territories and a fair solution for refugees. Recent agreements like the Abraham Accords have also shifted dynamics. These accords saw several Arab countries normalize relations with Israel. While they have not resolved the Israel-Palestine conflict, they represent a significant change in regional politics. Grassroots efforts also play a role in peace building. Various organizations work to foster dialogue and understanding between Israelis and Palestinians. These efforts aim to build trust and lay the groundwork for a future peace agreement. But Hamas' attack on Israel's civilians makes the issue into a war. The path to peace is fraught with obstacles, but the desire for a just and lasting solution endures. Both communities continue to hope for a day when they can coexist peacefully, with dignity and mutual respect.